What's up, everyone? James McCool here with Paydirt with another Showdown season. Tonight, going over the Packers versus the Eagles. Looking at captains, we have Jalen Hurts is by far the top overall edge at 0.93%. Saquon Barkley with by far the worst at negative 6.12%. It's mostly neutral across the rest of the distributions, outside of, a couple guys at the top and bottom that don't really have that big of edges. When we're looking at the flexes, we have a couple different exposures and edges that matter. So we have Jalen Hurts and Josh Whyle as the top edges here at plus 14% and plus 13% respectively. Jake Elliott with the worst at negative 14%. It's interesting that we have a lot of backup tight ends as plus edge options, but there's good reason for that. The Josh Whyle thing is uncomfortable, but models are basically saying that while Musgrave is going to get the ownership, there's a lot of uncertainty, so we should take the cheaper of the two. When we're looking at the heavy duplication data, it's clear that Jalen Hurts is going to be the highest duped captain on the slate. Emmanuel Wilson is looking like the trendy value play from the field, and the flex score will very likely be that of Wilson, Love, and Barkley. There's going to be a lot of spread out exposures in this one, but the flex score is pretty solid. People are going to be using Emmanuel Wilson, expecting either a Phillies lead or a competitive game and kind of outthinking the Packers being in the lead the entire time. This is a really good showdown slate overall. People are going to be all over Jalen Hurts captain, but I think that's correct. The models find that mostly optimal. The one that people are not looking at enough is Josh Jacobs in the captain. Jacobs in the captain played with the Packers defense is a really unique way of going about the showdown slate, with the assumption that the Packers are able to kind of control the game and dominate the time of possession and make it so that Josh Jacobs has breathing room to take over as captain. It's an elite pairing in large field contests. The other point to focus on here is going to be the Packers tight end situation. With Kraft out due to injury, people are going to slot in Luke Musgrave, and I think that makes sense, but there's so much uncertainty in that position and with this situation that it makes a lot of sense to also try to find more value and just use Whyle instead. They're going to spell him plenty, and we could see probably similar receiving lines between Kraft and Whyle, with Whyle being the site minimum. With both of these instances and the fact that the Packers have such a wide receiving tree, it makes for a really, really nice showdown. If you can lean into that, I think that we're going to see some solo unique winners at the top of even the big field lotto. Overall, I'm into this one. I think Jalen Hurts or Josh Jacobs are the best captains to build around. If you go with Hurts, then you're going to be going for a high-scoring game where you use Whyle and the flex of the value. If you go with Jacobs, you're going to use the Packers defense in the flex and hope for a barn burner with a lot of Eagles mishaps. In both situations, slot in Jordan Love, Grant Calcaterra, and Devontae Smith, depending on the salary that you have left over. Hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown. If you did, there's a full article of it over at PaydirtDFS.com. Like this video, comment, follow, and subscribe over to the YouTube, and I will talk to you next time.